So when you learned that the baby had been taken from Monticello General unlawfully, what did you do?
If it was unlawful, why wasn't Mrs. Swift charged with a crime?
Well, I can answer that, Your Honor. Mr. Swift didn't wish to press charges against his wife at the time.
As a point in fact, Mr. Swift was advised that he should do exactly what his wife did. That is, steal the baby back again.
Objection!
Steal is a rather strong word, Mr. Nelson.
All right, Your Honor. Appropriate the baby back, but he chose not to do this. Now, when you found that the baby was taken from the hospital without the father's permission, what did you do?
We tried to locate Mrs. Swift and her son. It wasn't very easy because she had already left her hotel and didn't leave a forwarding address.
Sounds as if she were expecting someone to come looking for her.
I'm sure she was.
Well, what did the police have to do in order to find her?
Hey, just a moment, Mr. Nelson. I'd like to question this witness. Detective Saxon, was this an official police investigation, or were you acting as a private citizen?
Oh, yes, we received a complaint, and it's our job to follow it up.
And the complaint came from Mr. Swift, I assume?
Yes, sir.
I see.
You found the missing mother and child, didn't you?
Yes, in 10 days.
And what happened then?
Detective Calvin Stoner and I went to her new apartment. We wanted to question her about her activities and her intentions.
And in what condition did you find this new apartment?
Well, frankly, it was a mess. The place was dirty. The child looked like he hadn't been changed or cleaned. There was a teenage babysitter there.
Objection, Your Honor. Since when do the police investigate welfare conditions? No, I suggest that this is pure prejudice on the part of this witness.
Well, there was no investigating to be done. Everything was there in plain sight. The apartment was a mess, and so was the child.
Thank you, Detective Saxon. No more questions.
Very well. Mr. Rutledge.
Miss Saxon, you say that you had difficulty locating Mrs. Swift and her son. Do you generally have difficulty finding the addresses of ordinary citizens?
No, we don't. Mrs.
It was
Swift
a new apartment, you know. Don't you think it's only natural that a new address and phone number might be a little more hard to find? Although, of course, one would think that a trained police officer wouldn't have that difficulty.
Mrs. Swift didn't want us to
And the mess
find
that this
her.
apartment was in. Let me ask you something, Miss Saxon. Did you ever move into a new apartment?
Yes, I have.
Did you ever see a new apartment that wasn't a mess for the first couple of days?
Well, I don't think...
And I want to
we
ask
can
you one
compare.
more thing, Miss Saxon. Were you aware of a report by Mrs. Benita Thomas about the conditions in Mrs. Swift's apartment?
That report occurred
Now, don't you
after
think
I...
that an experienced welfare worker knows just a little bit more about this kind of thing than a police person?
Mr. Rutledge,
Thank you, Miss
why don't
Saxon. No more questions, Your Honor.
Very well. You may step down, Miss Saxon.
Say it. I did a lousy job.
Well, that's not true, Cliff. Things went about the way I expected they would.
And we were shot down in flames. You know that as well as I do. Bet you wish Mike were here instead of up at the governor's conference.
Did you just stop it? You did a fine job with April. You impressed the judge. I'm sure he could see that April was telling the truth.
She was fabulous. He made it look as if she did it all for love. Oh, well, I mean, Raven and the baby, not it.
I know what you meant.
I'm sorry about all that gossip stuff coming out. We knew it would.
That is why I did not want April on the stand.
Oh, we knew who put him up to that one. I should say who put him down to that one.
Well, it was Raven's idea, there's no doubt about that. Well, what would you say to a hamburger, huh?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'd say hamburger. I don't think I could take you now.
What?
Do you have a statement for the press?
I'm sorry, no, excuse me. I could kill you. Open that door, you coward.
If you promise to be a lady.
Do you realize what you did? You stood there and waved that thing all over the place. You think it's real funny, don't you?
I did find it a bit amusing.
Yeah, and then you dropped the thing at Cliff Nelson's feet.
He didn't even bother looking at it. People are not as observant as you think.
Elliot, if he had looked at it, he would have stood up, stopped the whole trial, and they would have proved that I lied.
Come on, nothing happened. Why are you so worried? As a matter of fact, I think things went pretty well for you this morning.
You could have lost this case for me.
You mean with, this? Oh, get that back. I need that, darling.
I need it more than you do. This isn't the letter. It's a bill.
Yeah, it's my laundry bill. From the Unicorn. Huge, isn't it? All those tablecloths and napkins.
You are a monster.
You can't speak that way to your best friend.
I don't have any friends. Didn't you hear the court?
Oh, yes, that was a very touching scene, wasn't it? How many times did you rehearse it? Well, just wait until you inherit your baby's millions. You'll have more friends than you know what to do with. How about some lunch?
With you in public, never.
I thought you'd feel that way. See you later.
When I get my baby's millions, I won't need any friends. I won't need anybody.